Good morning everyone, and welcome to another edition of Underwater, exploring the myths and legends of BC lakes. The weather's almost ready to take our drone out. I have a new microphone that's recording directly from my lapel, so hopefully the audio quality is going to go up a little bit. I'm used to sitting at a desk and using a Yeti stereo microphone hooked to my computer. This is a whole new experience. So what is this little video about today? Well, we've covered off the drone. What we haven't covered off is some of the safety things that you want to do to make life a little bit simpler and to keep your equipment safe. So the first thing we want to talk about is when you have your drone out under the water, that drone is just like a diver. That drone is below the surface, it's out of the sight, there may be motorboats, there may be other craft on the water. I would really recommend that you invest in something like this. This is a $50 item, and it is right to code, and it says diver below water, and it's flying the flag to let people know that there is a diver in the water, and that is supposed to guarantee a 300-foot radius between this buoy and any approaching craft, so you can operate your drone safely. So you could have this out on the water where you're planning to dive, or in the case of what we're doing, more than likely Kelly will be towing this buoy behind a kayak as I am directing her where the drone's going to be, so she keeps the buoy relatively centered over top of the drone. The other thing you want to really watch for is your spool. Now the spool is heavy enough, but it is not near as heavy as the drone is, and the drone's got some juice to it. So what you can do is actually pull this entire spool into the water with the drone by mistake. So you never want to just sit this spool down somewhere and expect it to stay there as it's spooling off cable. If you forget and all your cable goes out, or there's a snag or something else happens, you can lose your spool and transmitter, and you may not ever get your drone back, and that would be a terrible waste of your investment. So here's a couple ideas. So what I chose to do, and I'm just going to move this giant diver below thing out of the way, and the nice thing about this is it comes with a 3 tent pole system similar to a tent. Uses some TPU flexible material here so you can fold it right flat. And then you can just roll the flag up. And then I grabbed an old sleeping bag case to drop everything in when it's deflated. So we're just going to move that out of the way for a moment here and get to the spool. So as I said, your spool would be sitting here, and you have your transmitter here. That's going to go to your tablet and your Bluetooth controller. And you never want to lose this. So this spool, you know, moves around easily. It could easily be sucked into the water if there's a snag of some sort. So I really recommend you mount it on top of something. Now, in order for it to stay in the case when we travel, you don't want a permanent mount. So what I did is I found one of my toolboxes. It's a DeWalt biscuit joining box. And it's about the right size that I can load this with plastic bags filled with sand and get about 35-40 pounds worth of sand in here altogether. And then what I did is I carefully drilled and reinforced the top, and then installed these plastic retaining clips, which I actually 3D printed off of one of my 3D printers. So now what happens is when we get out where you're going to be putting your drone in, this is designed that the spool sits directly on top of the case. These little arms have wing nuts or thumb tie downs on them to tie down. So you can imagine now that the case and the spool actually travel together. So when I'm about to put the drone in, this spool will be mounted on top of this case. This case will be filled with the plastic bags full of sand. It's easy to transport to and from the site. and it guarantees my spool is not going to come off in the water and lose it, and that's what you do not want to do. So that's a really important part of using an underwater drone. You want to make sure the spool is secure. You want to make sure you have some sort of buoy. And what that also does is it gives you a little bit of protection. If someone were to hit your drone with a boat anywhere inside of 300 feet while you're running this buoy, you will have legal recourse to go after them for the damage that's been done. So I do think you should keep that in mind. So we're really looking forward to our first trip out to the lake, and it looks like that's going to be about 1 week. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for participating with us. Please subscribe to our channel, like these videos if you enjoyed them, and be willing to share them with others as we begin our underwater adventure looking for Ogopogo, Shishwagi, lost treasure, and whatever else we can find below the depths. Take care and have a wonderful day.